Hello everybody, this is Kobalt Steel and welcome to my very first video of something. Initially, this was supposed to be an edited version of my Strawberry Shortcake episode 1 review from my old account, but after viewing the video, the quality was very poor and it looked ugly, so I decided to just do an audio version of it. Hopefully this will suffice, as I will get to other reviews with actual video, so enjoy! Hello everybody, this is Kobalt Steel and welcome to my very first show review.
In a world of shows, many shows have not been reviewed, so it will be my duty to review those shows for you. So, to kick off my series of show reviews, which would mostly be animated shows, why don't we begin with a rather sugary cartoon from the 1980s? Yeah, let's start off this series with a review of the first episode in the original 1980s annual TV series, Strawberry Shortcake. Oh, you thought this would be a review of G1 My Little Pony, did you? Well, that's for another day, boys and girls, but do not fear, I will review it eventually. So, I remember the 2000s incarnation being the kind of show that I should not watch, along with G3 My Little Pony, because it was extremely girly and cheesy from my perspective. However, the 2010s incarnation was what got me into Strawberry Shortcake, which I saw before G4 My Little Pony. I randomly decided to see a 1980s episode, and after getting adjusted to the earlier personalities of each character, I got to enjoy the 1980s show. Really, this and My Little Pony changed my view of TV shows for life. I saw all 6 episodes of the original series, and all 6 will be reviewed before the month is over. And while I found the series to be awesome, there are only 6, and released on a single day on an individual year. That's so painful for me to imagine, and for me now. I can't bear the idea of waiting a whole year for a single episode, then wait for the next for another year, and for it to just end on 6 episodes? Poop. Now, let's go on to the review, shall we? This story is about Strawberry Shortcake having a bad day when her friends desert her, but they have to desert her because they were planning her 6th birthday surprise party. However, the evil, peculiar purple pie man of Porcupine Peak wants to spoil it so he can take their berries and be a big jerk to the kids. What a nutcase. His evil plan is to use a watering can that doesn't stop producing water to flood the land. And what better way to do this than give it to Strawberry? However, the little girl declines it and acts depressed, but the pie man finds another buyer. Anyway, Strawberry is directed by the son, don't ask, to go to Lilac Park, where the surprise party is. After a good day, she gets her present, the magic water can from the pie man. After a very bad demonstration of how it works, the can causes a massive flood that destroys the place, and Pie Man continues to be a jerk by ordering the kids to give them all of the berries. Oh no, how dare you do that to these kids, you moron! I disapprove. I'm going to tell your mother and have her arrest you, idiot man! Pardon me? Ugh, I'm so mad, the Pie Man. After a while, Apple Dumpling, one of the friends, sneaks in Porcupine Peak, and after a massive fight between Trees and the Pie Man, she orders Pie Man to surrender, which he does. We end on a happy song note, with Pie Man reformed for good. Or does he? Anyway, the story was okay. Unlike the action-packed My Little Pony and Gem, the hologram series from that decade, this one was more like Rainbow Bright, except a bit softer. It had a basic story, and aside from a few pacing problems at the start, it was well fleshed out and pretty entertaining. However, I have a problem with the Sun character. I really don't like narrators which the Sun plays, as they take so much out of the story. Thankfully, he doesn't take too much out, and he's an actual character with some role in the story, so he's one of the better narrators. Our first character is Strawberry Shortcake, voiced by Russi Taylor, and is the star of this episode. She's a kind and sweet girl who made friends of everyone in Strawberryland, the place in the show. She is a problem solver and quite intelligent, at least morally. She owns a cat named Custard who communicates through mimery. You know, Strawberry Shortcake has to be one of the most adorable characters I've ever seen, and one of the best singers I've ever heard. Let's just keep moving before I lose my mind. We also have her friends, the lazy Huckleberry Pie, the air-headed Blueberry Muffin, the intelligent Plum Pudding, the rude raspberry tart, and the baby apple dumpling. Sadly, unlike the complex and three-dimensional G1 ponies, these characters aren't really characterized, aside from one single character trait, but they do get their jobs done of not being carbon copies of each other, which is quite interesting. They aren't bad characters, but they're not that great either. Out of all the characters, Plum was and still is my favorite throughout every incarnation except the recent ones. He always planned ahead and had intelligence up to the 8th grade, which is okay, I guess. He also didn't shove his intelligence in your face with that according to my calculations nonsense, at least in the early episodes. He was just a normal kid who could think ahead and use his intelligence if he needed to. Sadly, this was his only episode to shine, excluding the last 2 episodes. There's a good reason why I said that, but I'm not going to get into it right now. But the worst had to be Raspberry. While she is tolerable, I don't like how rude she could get, as well as the fact that she gets away with being rude. It's just those little things that just bug me about her. Pie Man was an interesting villain. He's kind of like the 3 witches in the supposedly bad My Little Pony movie, blended into one character and turned into a man. He was evil and liked to cause so much trouble for the kids, but he was too hilarious and awesome for me to take seriously. While the kind of villain the witches were in the supposedly bad My Little Pony movie don't make very good movie villains, or even good villains in the kind of show My Little Pony was back in the day, that kind of villain works perfectly here. The animation was, well, what is to be expected of a 1980s American cartoon, although slightly less riddled with errors. The character designs were a little messy and they tended to get off model, but it was well animated, though some sequences did look a bit rushed, such as the sequence with Strawberry skipping to her house in the intro. The cartoon was rather colorful, having that typical 1980s soft colors, and it looked like those Saturn shows that are associated with girl cartoons, although Porcupine Peak reminds me of some nightmare levels from my PS2 Ratatouille game. I should say that I loved those stages, and I liked the look of Porcupine Peak. What I found rather funny was that in several shots, Plum Pudding had a larger head than other characters, which probably ran the trope of intelligent characters having bigger heads. I don't know if this visual gag was kept in his subsequent appearances in this series, but it did look like it was kept for the 2000 series. The music was awesome. I loved every song in this episode. The intro is extremely catchy and much better than that new one. The wake up song was nice, and that final song was pretty cool. Strawberry and Friends were a creation by Muriel Farian in 1977, and the cards were produced by American Greetings. After a while, the characters were a hit, and the toy company Kenner decided to take the characters and turn them into dolls. The line then expanded into an Atari 2600 game that I do not own, stickers, cereal, and the annual TV show. I'll go over various parts of Shortcake history as these videos continue. There is a removed snippet of a scene where Strawberry is looking really sad in a flower field, and all of a sudden, flowers come in saying, "We love you, Strawberry." I don't know why this was cut, but it looks trippy. I give the world of Strawberry Shortcake a good 7 out of 10. While I had a very simple character set and plot, it's an okay episode and a good start to the series, but nothing groundbreaking. Stay tuned for the second episode, Strawberry Shortcake in Big Apple City.